But that if everybody that's listening to this does that, they will maintain and grow their wealth. But it's people bet, they make big bets. They think they're so damn right. They put half their net worth into one sector or one stock and they get wiped out. That's what happens.
So would your mother pick the stocks herself, or would she invest in an index fund? Or
she indexed.
She used it. So okay.
Even back then, they didn't have ETFs, but they had mutual funds that said the only stock in this mutual fund it doesn't have any debt and it pays dividends. Whatever. They were very rudimentary back then. They were just collections of stocks. I think she had like 28 names or something like that in the portfolio. But if you looked at them, they were really boring large cap names. But they were sectorally diverse. There wasn't 10 sectors back then. There wasn't 11, there was 10. So they didn't have real estate as a sector. So, but I looked at it saying, wow, these are really boring.
You learned a lot about money from your early upbringing, right? From that early context.
Yeah, because what she said to me was, look, I even do this today with wealthy people call me up all the time and say, look, they get divorced. This very wealthy woman got divorced recently, and she said, look, I'm divorcing, and she was a billionaire. She was divorcing. She was more multi-billionaire. And so she said, look, I'm getting everybody's calling me up to be my advisor because I'm separating from my husband. It's all his guys that did all the management of our family wealth. Would you be my advisor? I said, no, I don't do that. But, I can just give you some basic advice, and you can hire people that stick on the mandate. And I gave her Georgette's strategy, but I had her do something else too. I said, let's get a piece of paper. You're a billionaire. Let's put everything on this piece of paper on the last 90 days that you've spent on, whatever the hell it is, I don't care. And let's put on, no computer, no spreadsheet, on this, let's look at all the income that you've made off your portfolio as it stands now, whether it's gold you have or land or stocks or bonds. Let's just do a gut check on, do you outspend yourself? She said, why would I give a shit? I said, wouldn't you like to know how much money you're burning living your lifestyle the way you live it? Just out of interest. Maybe you have enough for the rest of your life, but maybe you want to give some of it to your family one day or give it to charity. Wouldn't you like to know? Because one of my rules is never outspend yourself on any 30 or 60-day cycle, ever. Just ever. I don't have any debt. So I'm very careful about that. And we went through this little thing. She freaked out. She was pissing away money, just bleeding hundreds of thousands of dollars a week. I mean, I don't care how rich you are. You don't want to be stupid. And I said, does that shock you? One of two things has to happen. I mean, you're losing millions of dollars a quarter. Like, why? Why? Like you've had nobody restrict what you do with your money, because you're going to have to sell stocks at some point or sell gold or sell land to keep this up. And are you really that happy? Like, what's all this shit you're buying? Like, what is all this crap that you don't need? It was an eye-opener for her. So my point is, most people don't do that exercise. I don't care if you're only making $56,000 a year or $68,000, the average salary.
So are you in the camp that you shouldn't spend money on the small things, like the coffee? If you don't need it, you should make the coffee at home. Is that kind of...
I can't stand it when I see kids that are making $70,000 a year spending $28 for lunch. I mean, that's just stupid. It's just, think about that in the context of that being put into an index and making 8 to 10% a year for the next 50 years.
What's an index for someone that doesn't?
So, okay. I mean, I even built an app for this purpose, just so I could, there's many apps out there, you don't have to use mine. Mine's called Bean Stocks, but you just allocate 15% of your salary and it automatically puts it into two buckets, some stocks and some bonds. The stocks are ETFs, exchange traded funds that just track the S&P 500. Very simply. Mine's
the S&P 500 is the top 500 stocks.
Yeah, and so it's just, people that tell me, oh, I can beat the S&P, I can pick stocks. They're so full of crap. Not over the long period they can. So it's better, you might as well just own ETFs. I have a version of the S&P that I designed with other people that strips out all the crappy balance sheets, but that's just me. You can just buy the index that you want, the ETF. And then you pay low fees, And then over time it appreciates. And then if you buy some treasury bills or fixed income, you get that. You should have less of those when you're young and more than when you're older. That's just diversification. But you know, the best test I do with my kids' friends too, go into a closet, go into your closet and look at how much shit you have you don't wear. Because you either bought it because you thought you were going to wear it and never wore it or wore it once, and you end up wearing 20% of your portfolio all of the time and 80% you pissed away. I mean, that's really stupid. And so for a young person, a young woman or man, don't do that.